The alarm rang through orbital station Horizon 7 like a wounded animal crying for help, dropped her coffee cup and ran to the monitoring room. Her boots made loud sounds on the metal floor. Other workers moved past her, all running to their stations. "What do we have?" she asked as she reached the main screen. Was already there, his fingers moving fast over the controls. His face looked worried in the blue light of the display. "Refugee ship, Class 4 transport, she's drifting, no power, life support is almost gone." Looked at the screen. The ship floated in the darkness of space like a dead leaf on black water. No lights, no movement, just a metal shell slowly spinning toward nothing. "How many life signs?" she asked. Was quiet for a moment, then he spoke softly. 47 bodies on board, but only one life sign, very weak, very small. Commander's voice came through the speakers. "Boarding team, prepare for rescue operation. Full protective suits. We don't know what killed them." Was already moving toward the airlock. She was a person who studied alien life. But on Horizon 7, everyone did everything. Today, she would be a rescuer. The boarding ship was small and fast, sat with and 2 other crew members as they flew toward the dying vessel. Nobody spoke. They had done this before. They had seen death before, but it never got easier. The ship was cold when they entered. His breath made fog inside her helmet. The emergency lights were red and weak, making everything look like a bad dream. The smell came through even with the suit filters. Death had been here for many days. "Spread out," said. "Check every room. The life sign is somewhere in the lower sections." They walked through halls filled with bodies. There were a beautiful species. They looked like foxes that had learned to walk on 2 legs. Their fur was silver and blue, their eyes large and bright. But these eyes were closed forever now. Families lay together, holding each other. Parents had wrapped themselves around children, trying to protect them from something that could not be stopped. "Plague," said quietly. "Look at the marks on their skin. This was the blue fever. It swept through the refugee fleet 6 months ago." Felt her heart grow heavy. They had been running from war, from the Dominion that wanted to destroy them. They had escaped death only to find it waiting on their own ships. She moved deeper into the vessel, following the weak life sign on her scanner. Down metal stairs, through narrow passages, past more bodies that she tried not to look at too closely. The cargo hold was at the bottom of the ship. It was dark and filled with boxes and supplies that would never be used. Moved her light across the room slowly. "Hello," she called out. "Is anyone here? We are here to help. We are from the human station." Nothing moved, nothing answered. But her scanner said the life sign was here, close, very close. Walked between the boxes, checking every shadow. Then she saw it. In the corner behind a pile of thermal blankets, something small was hiding. She knelt down slowly, making herself small and less scary. She pulled back the blankets gently. 2 huge eyes looked up at her. They were gold and filled with fear. A cub, no bigger than a human child of 10 years. Her fur was dirty and matted. Her body was thin, so thin that could see her ribs moving with each scared breath. "Oh, little one," whispered. "It's okay, you're safe now." She reached out her hand slowly. The cub pulled back hard, hitting her head against the wall. A small cry of pain came from her throat, but she did not run. She had nowhere left to run. "Don't," the cub said. Her voice was rough, broken from days without water. She spoke common, the language all species shared, but her words were strange. "Don't waste resources. I am nothing one, leave me." Felt something crack inside her chest. Not her heart, something deeper, a memory. A boy with sad eyes saying similar words, her brother, gone now for 12 years. "I'm not leaving you," said firmly. "Can you tell me your name?" The cub blinked. Nobody had asked her name in a very long time. She finally said, "But it doesn't matter. Names are for needed ones." Reached out again, and this time she did not stop when tried to pull away. She gathered the small body in her arms carefully. Was so light, too light. She weighed almost nothing, like holding a bundle of sticks wrapped in dirty silk. "Your name matters," said as she stood up. "You matter, and I'm taking you home." Did not fight. She did not have the strength, but she also did not relax. Her body stayed stiff and scared in his arms as they walked back through the dead ship. The others had gathered near the airlock. His eyes went wide when he saw what was carrying. "A survivor," he breathed, "just a cub." "She needs medical attention immediately," said. "Dehydration, malnutrition, possible early-stage blue fever exposure, though she seems to have fought it off." Back on Horizon 7, everything moved fast. Doctors and nurses surrounded, checking her body, giving her fluids, cleaning her fur. Let them do whatever they wanted. She did not complain. She did not cry. She just stared at the ceiling with empty eyes, like she was waiting for them to realize their mistake and throw her away. Commander found outside the medical bay. "The settlement ship in Sector 9 can take her. They have facilities for orphaned cubs. I'll arrange the transfer for tomorrow." "No," said. Raised an eyebrow. "Excuse me." "I said no. She stays here. I'll take responsibility for her recovery." "She's a cub. She needs her own people." Turned to look through the window at the small figure on the medical bed. Had turned her head and was looking back at her. Those gold eyes were still afraid, still empty, but somewhere deep inside them saw a tiny spark. A question. A hope that was too scared to believe in itself. "Her own people put her last," said quietly. "They left her to die alone in the dark. Right now she needs someone who will put her first. I'm going to be that someone." Studied's face for a long moment, then she sighed. "Fine, 1 week. After that we follow protocol." Nodded and walked into the medical bay. She pulled a chair next to his bed and sat down. "I'm going to stay here tonight," she said softly. "You don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. Just rest. I'll be here when you wake up." Stared at her for a long time. Then slowly her eyes closed. Her breathing became deeper. For the first time in many days she slept without fear. Watched her through the night, thinking about hollow ships and hollow hearts, and wondering if both could be filled again. 2 weeks passed on Horizon 7. His body healed quickly. The doctors said cubs were strong, built to survive hard times. Her fur became clean and soft again, shining silver blue under the station lights. She could walk, eat, and speak without pain. But something inside her was still broken. Noticed it in small ways. Never slept on the bed. Every morning found her curled up on the hard floor in the corner of the room, making herself as small as possible. When food came, would not eat until finished first. She only took what was left, even if it was cold and small. "You can have more," would say. "There's plenty." Would shake her head. "This is enough for nothing one." The words hurt every time she heard them. Nothing one, like had no name, like she was less than a person. Came to visit one afternoon. He brought a small toy, a soft ball that lit up with colors when you squeezed it, a gift for the cub, but just looked at it with confused eyes. "What is it for?" she asked. "For playing," said with a smile. "For fun." "Fun?" repeated the word like it was from a language she did not know. She put the ball down carefully and went back to folding blankets. She had decided that folding blankets was her job. She did it for hours every day, even when there were no blankets left to fold. Later sat within the small kitchen area. His face was serious. "You need to understand something about culture," he said quietly. "I did some research after we found her." "Tell me." "In society, everyone has a place, a purpose. Family units are everything. Children belong to their pack, and the pack decides their worth based on what they can do, what they can give." Paused, looking uncomfortable. "Cubs without families, orphans, they have a name for them. Hollow ones." Felt cold, hollow ones. It means empty inside, no purpose, no value. These cubs are given the worst jobs, the smallest food, the hardest work. They have to prove their worth every single day just to stay alive. If they fail, they are, He stopped. They are what? Left behind. Closed her eyes. Now she understood. Slept on the floor because she believed she did not deserve a bed. She ate last because she believed others were more important. She folded blankets because she was desperate to prove she was useful, that she had a reason to exist. That night could not sleep. She walked through the quiet station, her mind full of heavy thoughts. The lights were dim for the night cycle, making everything soft and gray. She heard a sound, small, quiet, coming from the storage closet near the medical bay. Walked closer. The door was open just a little bit. She looked inside and felt her heart break. Was sitting on the floor between boxes of supplies. Her knees were pulled up to her chest. Her small body was shaking, and she was crying, not loud crying, silent crying, the kind of crying that happens when you have learned that no one will come if you make noise. Stepped inside and sat down on the cold floor next to her. She did not speak. She just waited. For a long time there was only the sound of quiet tears. Then finally the cub spoke. My birth mother said I was mistake-born. Her voice was barely a whisper. She said I came when she did not want me. My pack father left before my eyes opened. He did not want to see my face. Listened, her own eyes were starting to burn. On the ship, when the sickness came, they gave medicine to the useful ones first. The hunters, the builders, the ones who could work. His voice cracked. I was last, always last, and then there was no medicine left. But I didn't die. Everyone else died, but I lived. Why? Why did nothing one live when good ones died? She looked up with those huge gold eyes, filled with pain and confusion. Nobody needs me, said. I have no purpose. I should have died with them. It would have been better. Felt tears rolling down her own cheeks now. She did not try to hide them. She reached out and took small hand in hers. I had a brother, said softly. His name was, he was younger than me, sweet and kind and always smiling. Looked at her, surprised that was sharing something so personal. 12 years ago there was a disaster on Mars Colony 7. The life support failed. There was not enough air, not enough food for everyone. Was sick already, had been sick for a long time. He needed medicine every day just to breathe. His voice shook, but she continued. When the disaster came, he heard people talking, saying that sick people were using resources that healthy people needed, saying it would be better if. She had to stop for a moment. He believed them. He believed he was a burden. One night he turned off his own oxygen machine. He left a note saying he was sorry for being useless. He was 14 years old. His eyes were wide. Her hand tightened around. I found him in the morning, whispered. I was too late, and I have spent 12 years wishing I had told him the truth, that I needed him, that his life was not measured by what he could do or give, that just having him there, just seeing his smile, just hearing his voice, that was enough. That was everything. They sat together in the darkness of the storage closet, two broken hearts, two people who understood pain. I cannot bring back, said finally. I cannot change what happened, but I can tell you what I wish I had told him. She turned to face fully, holding both of her small hands now. You are not nothing one. You are not a mistake. You are not a burden. You are a child who deserves to be loved just because you exist, not because of what you can do, just because you are you. But I have no purpose, whispered. I don't know how to be needed. Pulled her into a gentle hug. Stiffened at first, then slowly her body relaxed. She had not been hugged in so long, maybe never. You don't have to earn my care, said into her soft fur. I'm choosing to need you, not because you're useful, not because you can give me anything. I'm choosing you because you're here and you're alive, and that matters. You matter. Started crying again. But this time, it was different. These were not the silent tears of someone who expects no comfort. These were the loud, messy sobs of someone who is finally letting go of pain they have carried too long. Held her through all of it. She did not let go. She did not tell her to stop. She just held her and let her feel safe, maybe for the first time in her young life. when the tears finally stopped, looked up at with red eyes and wet fur. "Why?" she asked. "Why do you care about nothing one?" Smiled softly and wiped a tear from his cheek. "Because you're not nothing one to me, and I'm going to keep telling you that until you believe it." That night did not sleep on the floor. She fell asleep in his arms and carried her to the bed. She lay beside her, watching over her, protecting her from the darkness. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, but tonight a small crack had appeared in the wall around his heart. And through that crack, the smallest bit of light was beginning to shine. 1 month had passed since came to Horizon 7. Things were slowly changing, but change is never a straight line. Some days were good. Some days were very hard. Had started following everywhere. At first, thought this was a sign of trust, but she soon realized the truth. Was not following her because she felt safe. She was following her because she was afraid. "Let me help," would say every morning. "I can carry things, I can clean. I can organize your data files, tell me what to do." Would give her small tasks, easy things. But small tasks were never enough for. She would find more work. She would stay awake late, cleaning rooms that were already clean. She would wake up early, organizing supplies that did not need organizing. One evening, found in the supply room, sorting medical equipment for the 3rd time that day. The cub's hands were shaking. Her eyes had dark circles under them. She had not slept properly in days. Said gently, "Stop." Kept working, her movements fast and nervous. "Almost done, I need to finish. If I don't finish, I am not useful. If I am not useful, you will send me away. I have to prove my worth. I have to show you I deserve to stay." Walked over and knelt beside her. She put her hands over, stopping her frantic movements. "Look at me," she said. His gold eyes were filled with fear. Real fear. The fear of a child who has learned that love must be earned, that safety can be taken away at any moment. "I am not going to send you away," said firmly. "Not if you work, not if you don't work, not if you make mistakes, not if you break things, not ever." "But what if I am not useful?" whispered. "What if I cannot do enough?" Smiled sadly. "Come with me, I want to show you something." She took his hand and led her through the station. They walked past the medical bay, past the sleeping quarters, past the command center. Finally, they reached a small room at the end of a quiet hallway. Opened the door. Inside was a garden. Not a big garden, just a small room filled with plants and flowers. Green leaves, pink petals, yellow buds. Soft lights made everything glow warm and alive. The air smelled sweet and fresh. Looked around with wide eyes. "What is this place?" "My garden," said. "I built it when I first came to this station. I take care of these plants every day." Walked between the flowers, her fingers gently touching the soft petals. "But what do they do? Do they make oxygen for the station? Do they produce food?" "No," said. "They don't do anything useful." Looked confused. "Then why do you keep them?" Sat down on a small bench and patted the space next to her. Sat down too, still looking at the flowers with puzzled eyes. "I keep them because they are beautiful," explained. "Because looking at them makes me happy. Because watching them grow brings me peace. They don't have to earn their place in this room. They don't have to prove their worth. They just exist, and that is enough." She turned to look at directly. "Some things exist just to exist. Their worth is not measured by what they can do. They are valuable because they are alive, because they are here. And you are the same." Was quiet for a long time. Then very softly she said, "I don't know how to be like a flower. I only know how to work." "Then let me teach you," said. "Starting right now. Today you are not going to do any work. You are just going to be." It was hard for, very hard. Every few minutes she would start to stand up, looking for something to do, would gently pull her back down. "Just be," would remind her. "Just breathe, just exist." Later that day, came to find them. Was the communications officer, a warm woman with a kind smile and gentle voice. She had heard about the little cub and wanted to meet her. I brought something, said, sitting down on the floor with them. She pulled out a set of cards with colorful pictures on them. It's a game, want to learn? Looked at the cards with suspicion. What does this game produce? Laughed, nothing, that's the point, it's just for fun. Fun, repeated, that word again. She still did not fully understand it. But she watched as explained the rules. Match the pictures, take turns. If you win, you get a point. If you lose, nothing bad happens, you just play again. The first game was stiff and serious. She studied each card like it was a test she could not fail. But by the third game, something started to change. She made a match and smiled just a little, cheered for her, and smile grew bigger. By the fifth game was laughing. It was a small laugh, quiet and unsure, like she was not certain she was allowed to make such a sound. But it was a laugh, real and true, the first one had ever heard from her. Felt tears in her eyes, but they were happy tears. The peaceful moment was broken by Commander's voice over the station speakers. Report to the command center immediately. We have a situation. Told to stay with and hurried to the command center. When she arrived, his face was serious. An administrative vessel contacted us an hour ago, said. They know about the cub. Felt cold, how? Refugee records. Every ship keeps detailed lists of passengers, even the dead ones. When we reported finding a survivor, their system flagged it. Handed her a data pad. They're demanding transfer. They say orphaned cubs belong in official care facilities. Care facilities? His voice was sharp. You mean labor camps? Told me about them. They work these children like slaves. I know, said quietly. But legally she belongs to them. We're a human station. We have no right to keep a citizen. She's a child, not property. I understand, held up her hand. I'm giving you 72 hours to find a legal alternative, some way to keep her here that won't cause a political incident. After that, she shook her head. After that, my hands are tied. Walked back to the garden room slowly. Her mind was spinning. 72 hours. 3 days to save from a life of slavery and worthlessness. When she entered the room, looked up from the card game. Her golden eyes studied his face. Cubs were sensitive to emotions. She could tell something was wrong. What happened? Asked, her voice small. Forced a smile. Nothing for you to worry about. How's the game going? But later that night, after had gone to sleep, sat alone in the garden. She looked at the flowers, at their simple beauty, at their quiet existence. I won't let them take you, she whispered to the darkness. I don't know how yet, but I will find a way. You're not nothing one, you never were. The flowers swayed gently in the recycled air, as if they were nodding in agreement. 3 days, 72 hours. The clock was ticking. Did not sleep for 2 days. She sat in her small office, reading every law, every treaty, every agreement between humans, and her eyes burned. Her body ached, but she could not stop. Human adoption had no history. It had never been done. No legal path existed for a human to become guardian of a child. Every document she read told her the same thing, belonged to authority. Brought her coffee and food. She barely touched either. You need to rest, he said on the second day. I need to find a solution, replied, her voice rough from tiredness. And you'll be useless to her if you collapse. Sat down across from her. Talk to me. Maybe 2 heads are better than 1. Rubbed her eyes. There's nothing. I've read everything. Law says orphaned cubs are property of the state. Human law says we can't interfere with the internal affairs of other species. It's a dead end everywhere I look. What about mixed species laws? The Galactic Cooperative has provisions for situations that cross cultural lines. I checked. Most of it deals with trade disputes and territory issues. Nothing about children. Was quiet for a moment thinking, then his eyes lit up. Wait, give me that data pad. He started searching through the cooperative charter, scrolling quickly through hundreds of pages. Watched him, too tired to feel hope. Here, said suddenly. Section 47B Sanctuary Dependent Provision. What's that? Read aloud. In cases where a member of one species becomes essential to the psychological survival and of a member of another species, and this bond is mutually confirmed, the relationship shall be recognized and protected under cooperative law, regardless of species origin or home authority claims. Sat up, essential to psychological survival. It's old law, created centuries ago when the first mixed species colonies formed. Sometimes refugees would bond with caretakers from other species. This law protected those bonds. Looked at her seriously. If you can prove that is essential to your, and if confirms that you are essential to hers, they can't touch her. But it has to be real, said slowly. It can't just be words on paper. Exactly. You would have to stand in front of witnesses and make a formal declaration. And mean it, really mean it. Stared at the screen. Did she mean it? Was truly essential to her? She thought about the past month. She thought about small hand in hers. She thought about the sound of her laugh during the card game. She thought about the way he looked at her with those big golden eyes, full of fear but also full of hope. She thought about her brother, the hole he had left in her heart that had never healed. She was not a replacement, but in the short time since she had arrived, she had become something else, something important, someone who made want to wake up in the morning, someone who gave her purpose beyond just surviving. I do need her, whispered. I really do. But there was still one problem. Had to confirm the bond too, and still believed she was nothing one, worth nothing to anyone. Found in the sleeping quarters. The cub was sitting in the corner, her knees pulled up to her chest. She had heard things. Rumors spread fast on small stations. She knew something bad was coming. They're going to take me away, said before could speak. I heard the other workers talking. The ship is coming for me. Sat down next to her. Listen to me. I found a way to keep you here, but I need your help. Looked up, her eyes dull. It doesn't matter, I am nothing one. I always knew this was temporary. Thank you for being kind to me. I will go quietly. I won't cause trouble. No, his voice was firm. You're not going anywhere. There's a law, an old law, that says if two people need each other, really need each other, their bond is protected. Nobody can break it. But nobody needs me. I do. Took's hands in hers. I need you not because you're useful, not because you can work. I need you because you are you, because your smile makes me happy, because watching you grow makes me hopeful, because being with you makes me feel like my life has meaning again. His eyes were filling with tears. You're just saying that to save me. No, I'm saying it because it's true, and now I need you to look inside yourself and answer honestly. Do you need me too? Not because I give you food and shelter, but because of who I am. Do I matter to you? Was silent for a long moment. Her whole body was shaking. She had spent her entire life being told she did not matter. Now someone was asking if someone else mattered to her. The question was almost too big to understand. I'm scared, whispered. I know I'm scared too. What if I say yes and then you change your mind? What if you leave like everyone else? Felt her heart breaking for this small child who had been abandoned so many times. She pulled into a tight hug. I will never leave you, she said. I promise. From this day forward, you are my daughter, not because of law or paper, because I choose you, and I will keep choosing you every single day for the rest of my life. Cried into his chest for a long time, and somewhere in that ocean of tears, she found her answer. The next day, the officials connected via holographic link. Two of them appeared in the station's meeting room, their images flickering blue. They wore formal robes and had cold, unfeeling eyes. We have come for the cub designated, the taller one said. Prepare her for transfer. Stood tall beside her, and Commander stood behind them as witnesses. I invoke the sanctuary-dependent provision of the Galactic Cooperative Charter, said clearly. Section 47B. The officials looked surprised, then annoyed. That is an ancient law rarely used. It is still law, and I am using it now. Stepped forward, her voice strong and sure. This child is necessary to me. Her presence gives me purpose. Her growth gives me hope. Her existence is not a burden. It is a gift I refuse to return. Under cooperative law, I claim her not as property but as family. She is my daughter if she will have me. The room was silent. The officials looked at each other, then at. The provision requires mutual confirmation, the tall one said coldly. The cub must speak for herself. He looked down at with hard eyes. Cub, do you confirm this bond? Do you need this human? Was trembling. All her life she had been told she was worthless. Now the whole universe was watching, waiting for her to say that she mattered, that she was worth keeping, that someone needed her. She looked up at. In those warm human eyes she saw no judgment, no expectation, only love, pure, simple love. Took a deep breath. Her voice came out small at first, but then grew stronger. She is my home, said. She saw me when nobody else did. She held me when I was broken. She told me I was not nothing one. She told me I mattered. Tears were running down her fur now, but she kept speaking. I need her. I will always need her. Not because she gives me things, because she gave me myself. She taught me that I deserve to exist. She reached up and took his hand. She is my mother, the only one who ever wanted me. Was crying too. She knelt down and pulled into her arms. I love you, she whispered, my daughter. I love you too, whispered back, Mom. The officials were silent for a long moment. Then finally, the tall one spoke. The bond is confirmed. Under cooperative law, we have no further claim to this cub. His voice was stiff, unhappy. This matter is closed. The holographic images disappeared. The room exploded in cheers, was crying happily, was grinning. Even Commander had a small smile on her usually serious face. But barely noticed. She just held her daughter, finally hers, finally safe. Tomorrow they would start a new life together. But tonight, they just held each other and let themselves believe in happiness. 2 years had passed since Became's daughter. They no longer lived on the cold metal station in space. They had made a new home on a colony world called New. It was a beautiful planet with green hills, blue skies, and gentle seasons. Humans had built a small city there, a peaceful place far from war and conflict. Their house was small but perfect. It sat at the edge of the settlement, near a forest of trees that loved to explore. The walls were painted soft colors. The windows let in warm sunlight, and everywhere there were plants. Had brought her garden with her, and it had grown bigger than ever. Flowers bloomed in every room. Vines climbed up the walls. The whole house smelled like earth and life and hope. Had grown too. She was taller now, her silver blue fur thick and healthy. Her eyes still shone gold, but they were no longer empty and afraid. They sparkled with curiosity and joy. She went to school in the settlement, the only among human children. At first it had been hard. The other kids did not know what to make of her. Some were scared. Some were mean. Some just kept their distance. But was not the same frightened cub who had hidden in the cargo hold of a dead ship. She had learned something important from her mother. She had learned that her worth did not depend on what others thought of her. Slowly she made friends. A human boy named Minu who loved science and bugs. A girl named Sara who was quiet-like and liked to draw. A loud, funny kid named who made everyone laugh and always shared his lunch. Today was a special day. Came home from school running, her bag bouncing on her back. Mom. Was in the garden as usual. She looked up with a smile. What is it? I got picked for the school presentation. I get to talk about my research project in front of everyone. His tail was wagging with excitement. They chose MY project. Put down her gardening tools and pulled into a hug. That's wonderful. I'm so proud of you. You'll come watch, right? I wouldn't miss it for anything. That evening, they sat together on the porch, watching the sun set over the hills. The sky turned orange and pink and purple. Birds that were not quite like Earth birds sang evening songs. Leaned against side, "Mom." "Yes." "Do you remember when you found me on the ship?" Was quiet for a moment. "I remember every moment." "I was so scared," said softly. "I thought you would leave me like everyone else. I kept waiting for you to realize I was not worth keeping." Stroked her daughter's soft fur, "And now?" "Now I know better," looked up at her mother with shining eyes. "You taught me. Every day you taught me that I matter, that I deserve good things, that I am enough." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, then spoke again. "A message came today." Felt her body stiffen slightly. "A message." "From space, from the female who gave birth to me." His heart beat faster, but she kept her voice calm. "What did it say?" "She survived the war. She found out I'm alive and where I live. She wants to talk to me." His voice was steady, but could feel the tension in her small body. This was a moment they had both known might come someday. "How do you feel about that?" asked carefully. Was quiet for a long time. The last light of the sun disappeared behind the hills, and the first stars began to appear. "I don't know," she finally said. "I thought I would be angry. She left me. She told me I was a mistake. She let them give the medicine to everyone else first." Her voice trembled just a little. "But I'm not angry. I just feel sad for her, sad for who I used to be." Held her closer. "You don't have to respond if you don't want to. You don't owe her anything." "I know," nodded, "but I think I want to tell her. I want her to know that I'm okay, that I found my place, that the nothing one she threw away became someone after all." Felt tears in her eyes. "Whatever you decide, I support you, and nothing changes between us. You can have two mothers or one or none who deserve that name, but you will always have me." Hugged her tightly. "I know, Mom, I always know." The next day wrote her response. She sat at her desk for a long time, choosing each word carefully. Did not read it. That was message, her choice, her voice. When was finished, she showed it to anyway. "You told me I was mistake-born," the message read. "You left me to die alone on a ship full of ghosts. For a long time I believed what you taught me. I believed I was nothing. But a human found me in the darkness. She carried me out. She told me I was not nothing. She told me I mattered. She chose me when no one else would. I don't hate you. Hate takes too much energy, and I have better things to do with my life. But I want you to know that the cub you threw away has grown into someone worth knowing. Not because of you, but in spite of you. I hope you find peace. I hope you learn that children are not mistakes, but my family is here now. My home is here. My mother chose me and I chose her. I wish you well, but I am not your cub anymore." Wiped tears from her eyes. "It's perfect," she said. Sent the message and closed the screen. Then she took a deep breath and smiled. "I want to plant something," she said. "In the garden, something special." Nodded. "What did you have in mind?" "A memory flower. My teacher told me about them. They're flowers that bloom in colors that show the feelings of the person who takes care of them. I want to see what color mine becomes." They ordered the seeds from a botanical trader. When they arrived, planted them herself in a special pot. She placed it in the sunniest corner of the garden and watered it with care. Weeks passed, the seed sprouted, the plant grew, and finally one morning it bloomed. Called to come see. They stood together, looking at the flower. Its petals were the most beautiful color either of them had ever seen. Deep gold, rich and warm and bright. "What does gold mean?" asked. His eyes were filled with happy tears. "In culture, gold is the color of belonging. It means you have found your place. It means you are home." Knelt down beside her daughter. "You are home, you always will be." Leaned into her mother's arms, looking at the golden flower that bloomed because of her heart, because of her growth. "Mom." Yes, thank you for needing me. Held her close, feeling her heart overflow with love for this small creature who had come to her broken and afraid, and had become the best thing in her life. Thank you for letting me, she whispered. The golden flower swayed gently in the breeze, and somewhere in the universe, a cub who had once been called Nothing One finally understood that she had always been everything. The garden grew, their love grew, and somewhere in the vast darkness of space, a memory flower bloomed bright gold, telling anyone who could see it that here, in this small house on a green planet, someone had found exactly where they belonged. This was not the end of their story. It was just the beginning.